People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My soaps located purplebutterfly-soaps.myshopify.com, my blog, purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com. And today I'm finna make some liquid laundry soap, not detergent, soap, because I don't use chemicals. And detergents are generally chemicals. They contain things like SLS, which is sodium lauryl sulfate, so forth and so on. A friend of mine was asking, how do you make the laundry powder? And I sent her the video of me making the laundry powder. And I sent her also the video of when I made liquid soap. But the recipe is different. Back then, I used a cup of commercial laundry soap along with the recipe that I'm finna do now, and one of the bars of soap was Fel's Naphtha, which has chemical components. The soap I make now is all natural, no Fel's Naphtha, no commercial soap as a booster. It's all my own stuff. I either use a chunk soap. This is the Orchard Spin. This smells amazing. And your soap will end up smelling like whatever soap that you use to make it. So this is a scent that I really, really like. So I took one of these and shredded it into this. Okay. You're also going to need Borax, which is all natural, and washing soda, which is all natural, and a gallon of water. I almost knocked over my coffee. And your biggest stew pot. I have this stainless steel pot, but if it takes a smaller size, if you don't have this size, just go for something that will hold a gallon of water. Okay, a gallon of water is 124 fluid ounces, no, 128 fluid ounces. This container, which I've been recycling and refilling and recycling, is 154 ounces, which means a gallon will fit in here. I like this thing because it has a vent that I could just go like that and pour the, it's my funnel. That way I can just pour the ingredients directly in there when I'm done. And anything that I have left over is just going to go into any small bottle I find. I used to make this with 3 different bottles, different labels of laundry detergent that I borrowed from people. It's like, hey, what are you going to do with that bottle when you're done? This I actually went out and bought because I like the smell, and the only way I was going to figure out what scent combo that was if I bought the smell or bought the soap, so that way I could get the smell and then add it to my collection of must-haves. I have found this scent. It's a combo of 3 different scents, but yeah, I can make a soap that smells like game. Not today though. Today we're using Apple Orchard. So let me put this down because we're not going to need it for a while. And I'm going to use this container for the simple fact that it's see-through, because I want you to see what I'm doing. I usually do this entire procedure in this pot and then take it over to the stove, boil it, melt it down, all of that. But because I want you to be able to actually see what I'm doing, we're going to use this pot. And we're going to move things out the way so that way it's not distracting, so you can actually see. Okay. Now, I have been been known to just literally dump everything in willy-nilly. But because I want you to see what I'm doing, I'm going to go by the proper steps. Let's move this out the way as well. Hold on. There we go. Now you can see everything. The first thing I'm going to do, this is distilled water. You can also use spring water. Do not use Cincinnati sludge or whatever you call the stuff that's coming out your faucet. Ah. 1 gallon in. Also, if you don't have a old bottle of detergent that you can put the finished product in, pour it back in the gallon size container. I have a 3-year-old grandchild that recognizes certain things. He recognizes this is soap, this is Mr. Yuck, don't touch. But when he sees this, he thinks, hey, that's what my mommy has water in. And we don't want him tempting fate in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So I don't refill in this. Now we're going to take the grated soap. Also, just a note, when I usually do this and pour the water in, the stainless steel soap pot, as I call it, I usually boil the water before I do this step. But, yeah. So this isn't going into the stainless steel pot. We're doing it in here to show you. You're just going to do it that way. Okay. Now, the next step, you need 2 cups of borax. Now, if this sounds familiar like the powdered version of the soap, that's because it is. It's just this is how you hydrate the powdered soap to become a liquid soap. Borax sometimes get these chunks in it, so you have to kind of manipulate it so that way you can pour it without the lumps. And if you get lumps, it's going to all dissolve anyway. It's just trying to get it in the cup. It's a little tricky when the opening is smaller than the lump. Okay. This has 1 ingredient, sodium borate, all natural. Also, when you do it, let it settle for a minute because there's stuff in the air. You don't want to breathe that in, okay? Now I'm just going to literally pour it in and stir. And some of it's going to chunk out since it's lumps. Just get it in there. Okay. Now you're going to take the washing soda. Should have only 1 ingredient, sodium carbonate or bicarbonate. Hold up. Irritant is swallowed. Irritant harmful swallow. Duh. Okay. It even says make your own laundry detergent right on it. But what happens is you go to the store to pick this up and they don't have it or they have it hidden because they don't want people making their own washing detergent. They want people buying whatever's on the shelf. This tends to get hard. So what you're going to do, pure natural since 1874, but it's sodium bicarbonate. Take it, slam it if you need to. It's been under my sink, so basically a little moisture might have got in there to make things a little more complicated. Or 2 cups of that. And same thing. Put it upside down and then give it a shake so that way it can pour out without the chunks getting in the way. Any chunks that do get in your way is smaller than that opening, so that way it can pour out. Hold on, let me walk over here for a second. Whew. Had to take a deep breath away from there. That way I'm not breathing this stuff in. Now, let's finish pouring this. Out while you're pouring it a couple of times, so that way none of the dust gets in your nose because you're blowing it over. About time to buy a new box of this. But I'll just open it up a little more so I can get it out of there. I really should be using gloves because this will irritate your skin if it's on your skin straight. Let's see. They put a lot of writing on here and avoid telling what it actually is. Certified green. That's sneaky. You have to go to the website to get the ingredient. Oh, ingredients: sodium bicarbonate and water. Okay. But look where they put that. All the writing on here, they put it in one little corner that literally my hand was covering up. So you have sodium borax, sodium bicarbonate and water. A bar of my soap, actually 2 bars of my soap, 1 chunk soap or 2 bars of soap, it equals the same thing. Chunk soaps are equal to 2 bars. Actually, some of the chunk soaps are equal to 2.5 bars. You get what I'm saying. Come out of there. It's a big old chunk. Look at that. There we go. Okay, 2 cups. And my measuring cup just broke. You heard that crack? Look at that. It says, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. But that's okay. This came from the dollar store. I can get another one. And that's how you pour so you don't have any splashes. Now, all these lumps are going to take a minute to dissolve, but that's fine. Now, what you would do at this point, because that was all the ingredients, is you put everything that you're not going to need up. That's going in the garbage now. These go back under my sink. At this point, I would take this and put it on the stove, assuming that I was doing it in this. So, since I'm not doing it on the stove because this is plastic, just pretend this is cooking, coming to a boil. Stir it or use the stick blender until it all dissolves and melts and combines. And then you boil it a little more. Actually bring it to a boil, then lower the heat. But basically, I make sure it comes to a rolling boil. And then sometimes I either boil it for a while or I simmer it for a while. Either way, because of the ingredients, the combination of the soap and the washing soda, it's going to thicken up into like a gel. If you want it looser than a gel, lower the heat and blend it until it loosens out of that state. I like mine as a loose gel. Okay. Now, which one is plugged up? Here's the purple one. And this texture is what stick blenders were actually created for, to break up foodstuffs and stuff like that. Otherwise known as an immersion blender. You put it on top of what it is that you're trying to break up and hit the blend button. Now the chunkier pieces of soap is blended down to little teeny slivers and little bits, and the washing soda and the borax is completely dissolved now, including those big old chunks. Ah, that's what's making that sound. Left to do is to cook it. It'll become a translucent, not clear, but translucent to cloudy look. It's not going to stay white. Okay. Because all those ingredients will melt, and I'm going to pour it in here now. I'll save that bottle for later. See? All those hard chunks are now completely liquid. And the only thing that's solid in here are the little pieces of soap that hasn't been melted yet. And like I said, this will fit in here. I'll bring you back. It's starting to boil, which is good because we got to get all those little pieces of soap that's floating around melted. We got to get the borax and the washing soda dissolved. Yeah. We got to get rid of the granular and get to the liquid of it all. So, I'll bring you back. Use your biggest burner. Don't put a pot this big on something that small. Trust me, it'll do this thing called crazing if you have an electric stove, which means it'll crack the surface, especially if you have a, my mom had a glass top, and as you can see, it's kind of clear. All of the soap is melted. Now all we gotta do is cook it till it gets a little thicker. And make sure you put a top on it. Stir that down right quick. And turn it off too, because it's already on simmer. Hard to see past all the bubbles, but the soap is now clear and orange since that soap was orange. I'm going to let it cool down, at which time all the bubbles will go away, and pour it into my bottle. And yeah. Smells like apples. We'll let that rest for a minute. And I just turned off the stove, so yeah, bring it back. So the bubbles have gone away, and now we're left with the liquid soap. It's still hot, so we're letting the lather reintegrate into the soap before I pour it into the container. Smells amazing. Might have to be blended a little bit more, or maybe cooked a little longer to get rid of the granulars. But I'm thinking that's just the bubbles. Still hot. When it cools down, it'll be clear.
smash some of those bigger pieces of leather so that way it can reintegrate. This is a recipe made with 2 bars of soap, or 2 cups if you're using a chunk soap, 2 cups of washing soda, and 2 cups of borax. You can add fragrance oil if you want to, and you can add a broad spectrum preservative if you want to. I don't, for the simple fact that I use it so quick, I don't need to. This isn't like the liquid soap I make when I use potassium hydroxide. This is one that anybody can make. So, yeah. Let me know what you think. This has been PurpleButterfly here. Got my funnel out. Got the bottle because even though it's still slightly warm, I'm ready for bed, so I do not want to be fooling around with this until morning. So, yeah. Let me try to remember how to get this open. Okay. Go. So, this is going to go in the sink. Funnel in. Either pour it in here or put it here. This side is made to vent, so I'm going to pour it in this side since it's got the wider opening. That goes in the sink. This is going to come over here next to the sink, so that way I can get it in there. Look at that, now it's clear. Only a minimum amount of bubbles. Okay. Now, because this is heavy, I'm going to get a smaller container. And we're going to dip it. Oh, well, let's make sure you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. Literally pouring it into the bottle. About the 5th time, this will be light enough to just pick it up. One person that would lift the whole thing like this and pull it while it's completely filled up. Of course, she also pours 5-gallon things, and yeah, I just don't have the strength to do that. Okay, now. Be careful and go slow. as you can see, I got some on the sides there. No big whoop. That was just the bubbles that was there. Let me fix that by doing this. And all the mess goes down the sink. Everything went down the sink. That was, you know, those bubbles. This is still a little warm. So I'm going to put cold water in the sink to cool it down. But yeah, this is filled up to right about there. I think I'm going to vent it so that way the steam can come out. Actually, let me use this. I'll show you what it looks like. See that? It's clear except for those few bubbles. What did I do with the funnel? That's a good question. What did I do with that funnel? Oh well. We'll just, oh, there it is. And we'll just pour that right back in there. And now I'm going to let it sit there overnight so that way the temperature of the hot laundry soap is not going to melt through the container. That container probably wouldn't melt anyway, but because it's basically at 100 and some degrees, I'm not going to take any chances. Actually, let me get my thermometer. Fahrenheit. So, yeah. We're just going to let the cold water keep it from, you know, warping, melting, or whatever. And now when it's time to go do the laundry in the morning, I already have the soap ready. So this has been People7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My soaps look at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com, my blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Bye now. The laundry soap is finished. It's in there cooling. It's going to thicken up a little as it gets cooler, but since it was still hot and I didn't want to just have it sitting on the stove, I went on ahead and put it in a bottle. But I failed to mention that it measures in a half cup increment. So instead of the little markings on the bottle, just use half a cup, because it's not ultra or concentrated, it's just soap, and that uses a little more because, you know, it's not extra strength and all that. So if you make this, half a cup per load, or more depending on how much laundry you um, are putting in the washer, but standard measure is a half a cup. This has been People. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Bye now.